It's just wrong and heartbreaking to see people shivering and cold out on the streets.
Helping homeless veterans, the new San Diego shelter helping them find a life off the streets. Leading the way in San Diego, the city's new milestone for recreational marijuana. Walking through a winter wonderland, take a tour around the world with this dazzling display of lights. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. A new government audit shows the program that allows veterans to see a doctor outside the VA was overbilling the agency by millions of dollars. At the same time, doctors in San Diego and around the country waited to be paid. KPBS military reporter Steve Walsh has the story.
Congress created Veterans Choice in 2014 in the wake of a series of reports which revealed veterans were kept on secret lists at VA hospitals around the country, where they often waited months to see a doctor. Veterans Choice allowed more vets to see a doctor outside the VA. A new report just released by the VA's Inspector General says through 2016, the VA was overbilled by $39 million. Some providers were paid multiple times. On average, the private companies administering the program, including Tri-West in San Diego, took longer to pay doctors than the required 30 days. The report says the VA did not have a well-designed system for billing. The problems happened while the VA in San Diego suffered with some of the longest wait times in the country for veterans to see a mental health care provider. The report comes as Congress debates whether to replace the expiring Veterans Choice with a new program to allow veterans to see a doctor outside the VA. That alarms some veterans groups who worry the programs rob money from the existing VA services. Steve Walsh, KPBS News.
This is the first night for a new shelter dedicated to serve homeless veterans. The large tent structure is located on Sports Arena Boulevard in the Midway District. Staff will be on hand to serve up to 200 people per day. Their goal is to get people into the shelter and work with them to find more permanent housing.
The reality is that we do have some veterans who are struggling, and they have given so much to our country and now find themselves living in unsafe and often unsanitary conditions.
We're very excited to be part of this solution, and we can't thank everyone enough, especially to get this open before Christmas.
A similar shelter for families with children opened a few weeks ago. The city plans to open a third shelter in the East Village by the end of the month. San Diego has gained an early lead in the number of businesses earning a state license to sell cannabis. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen has more.
As of this afternoon, there were 7 marijuana dispensaries in San Diego with temporary licenses to sell recreational marijuana. That's more than any other city in California. It's already legal for people 21 and older to possess, share, and grow small amounts of cannabis. But selling it doesn't become legal until January 1st. Alex Traverso is spokesman for the State Bureau of Cannabis Control. He says the agency has received some 700 applications for various cannabis business licenses.
And obviously we're going to be working hard to get as many of those people that have their local authorization and everything that they need in their application. We're going to be doing everything we can to get them their temporary license before the year is over. And we're going to be working weekends to get that done.
San Diego city officials are still processing applications for cannabis cultivation, manufacturing, testing, and distribution permits. Those businesses are expected to get licensed next year. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
The city of San Diego overpaid MTS by more than $25,000. A city audit reviewed the operations of a city office that provided discounted transit passes to city employees. It found the office lacked proper cash handling and record-keeping procedures. This led to thousands of dollars in overpayment to the Metropolitan Transit System. Transportation managers agreed to follow up on recommendations from the audit. Most California voters are willing to put the brakes on the state's new gas tax law. That's according to a new UC Berkeley poll out today. The survey asked about the law signed by Governor Jerry Brown this past spring. Nearly 80% of voters rate the condition of California's roads as either fair or poor. Gas tax critics are gathering signatures for initiatives that would repeal the tax. Applications to UCSD and SDSU are way up, but the schools are having a hard time keeping up with demand. The two universities have received more than 200,000 applications combined for the upcoming school year. San Diego State has grown its student body by less than 4% over the past 5 years, and hopes a voter-backed expansion into Mission Valley will help. UCSD is working on a long-term plan to boost enrollment by 10,000 students by 2035. 7 people in 5 years have led the troubled San Ysidro School District. 4 of them came from school districts in East Los Angeles. iNews Source reporter Leonardo Castaneda explains the East LA connection.
The San Ysidro School District's troubles in recent years are well documented. The district faced a possible bankruptcy. One superintendent was convicted in a pay-to-play scandal. 2 others recently resigned amid allegations of financial misdeeds. Along the way, there was a lot of turnover. 7 people have held the superintendent's job since 2013. 4 worked for East LA school districts, Montebello, Linwood, and Bassett. So why is a San Diego school district on the Mexican border tapping Los Angeles educators for its top job? Here's how Edward Velasquez, a former East LA superintendent who served as San Ysidro's interim superintendent in 2015, explains it.
Anytime you look at districts and you look at the superintendent's office, they've developed relationships.
Velasquez says he hires people he knows can do the job. Mary Willis worked for Velasquez at 2 districts in East LA, and thanks to his recruitment efforts, she's also San Ysidro's latest interim superintendent. She says that's not surprising.
I think there's a cadre of people who do it, who go in and serve as interim or serve as mentors, and occasionally we bump back into each other.
Willis is guiding the district as it undergoes a state audit of controversial payments to 2 top former administrators. She also will help the school board hire a new superintendent. We'll have to wait to see if there's another East LA connection. For KPBS, I'm iNews reporter Leonardo Castaneda.
iNews Source is an independently funded nonprofit partner of KPBS. Many people in Northern California are now left picking up the pieces after devastating wildfires swept through their neighborhoods. The rebuilding process involves filing lengthy insurance claims. The California Insurance Commissioner wants to simplify the process for survivors. He's asking insurance companies to provide customers with coverage of their lost contents without requiring detailed inventory.
People lost everything, their most valued possessions, everything they had in this world. And so to ask them to inventory all that adds insult to injury, is a very, very emotionally trying thing to do and overwhelming for a lot of people.
So far, insurance claims for the wildfires in Northern California have totaled more than $9 billion. Tomorrow, funeral services will be held for CAL FIRE engineer Cory Iverson, who died last week fighting the Thomas Fire. Iverson joined CAL FIRE in 2009. He was part of a strike team based out of San Diego County. His colleagues say he was a hard worker who was committed to service. KPBS reporter Matt Hoffman has more.
He's a very good leader. I saw a lot of potential, and he would have been one of those captains who would have been great for the department.
CAL FIRE Captain Lalo Gamboa says he could always count on engineer Iverson.
Cory was one of those guys that, having worked with him in Battalion 3, he was always stepping up. He had initiative.
Gamboa met Iverson 2 years ago, and the pair went through a special CAL FIRE training together.
He was very eager to learn. The captains would tell him, I need you to go here, or I need you to go there. And he was like, okay, Cap, I'll go there.
After the training, Gamboa and Iverson worked at neighboring CAL FIRE stations, where they often went out on calls together.
He cracked the whip.
Gamboa says he and other firefighters knew Iverson to be a leader.
Cory's name came up with the firefighter, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like the guy, he always makes us work on the fire line. And so, he took his job seriously, and he made sure that work that needed to be done got done.
A medical examination revealed Iverson died from thermal burns and smoke inhalation. He leaves behind a pregnant wife and a 2-year-old daughter in Escondido. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
Raquel Vasquez has gone from Lemon Grove City Council member to San Diego County's first African-American woman mayor. She'll represent the city on SANDAG's board of directors, helping to make regional decisions about transportation, public safety, and economic development. With 2018 just around the corner, recently I sat down with her to talk about her first year as mayor and what's next for Lemon Grove. Reflecting on your first year as the mayor of Lemon Grove, what can you say are some highlights that come to mind?
We've fixed more roads. We've had many community workshops, bringing in the diversity of our community, not just residents, but the business community as well, to provide input in terms of what our vision is for the city of Lemon Grove. We have more people volunteering for community cleanups, and we have implemented a few new construction projects, but also new businesses are opening their doors within the city, and so we are making progress, and I'm just really happy to be a part of that process.
You are the first African-American woman mayor in San Diego County's history. What does that mean to you?
When I ran for office, I ran because of my passion for service, not knowing that we would be making history. But now that we are here, it truly is an honor to be recognized as the first African-American woman mayor in San Diego County, but also to have future leaders look up to me and this particular achievement.
Have you always considered yourself a leader? How did it come to be that you ran for mayor of Lemon Grove?
My experience growing up, my grandmother would take me to the polls with her every election season, and we would walk around the corner, and during this time she would talk about, and it was the same speech, you know, it's important that we vote in honor of the many African American women and men who died so that we could have that right to vote, but also in honor of those who championed the women's suffrage movement so that women could have the right to vote. And if you don't like the politics and you don't like the people, you vote, and you vote in honor of them. But she would also say to me, you know, take a look around in your community, and if there are things that you don't like to see, do something about it.
What's next? What are your goals next for, and your plans next for the city of Lemon Grove?
What we'd like to do is continue the work. I think that we have a solid plan in place, and so our goal is to attract more businesses, and the one thing that I like to say is that Lemon Grove, we have appeal. We are on the cusp of a renaissance, and when I say that, Lemon Grove is changing. We're implementing construction projects. Staff is working diligently to identify the funding sources to make those projects happen. We're reaching out to the community, asking them to get involved and engaged, and if you want to see what's going on in real time, I suggest that you, number one, sign up for email updates. Go to our website, and you can select what kind of updates you'd like to receive. Number two, attend our city council meetings and our workshops so that you can hear firsthand what's going on in Lemon Grove. And number three, volunteer your time to help out. You can watch all of this unfold on our social media as well. So you can add us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and follow us. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Democrats are relentless with efforts to unseat GOP Congressman Darrell Issa. Construction of a massive housing development in Chula Vista hits a snag, and legalized pot is almost here. Is California ready? Join us for the KPBS Roundtable tonight at 8:30.
This is Christmas by the Surf in Ocean Beach. A neighbor donated this quirky tree for the holidays, and community members decorated it. You can find the tree on Abbott Street and Newport Avenue. And check out this global winter wonderland. Holiday lights have transformed the parking lot at SDCCU Stadium. The event covers 17 acres with dozens of larger-than-life structures, from the Taj Mahal to the Statue of Liberty. San Diego is the 4th city to host this holiday event. And you may want to bundle up if you're heading to the Winter Wonderland. It's going to be chilly out there. Erin Calandra has your Christmas weekend weather forecast tonight.
Thank you, Ebony. Hopefully you had a nice day. It was pretty nice out there today, pretty quiet, not as windy as it has been. Taking a look here at our satellite, it's quiet, really not much going on around the county. Taking a look at the bigger picture to the north, we are seeing some spotty activity, some snow in those higher elevations. Of course, that is certainly not going to reach us here in San Diego. It's going to be a bit chilly tonight, 44 degrees, but also clear, and that's how it should be along the coast. Pretty much clear tonight. Oceanside dipping down to 38 degrees, so that's a bit cool. Ramona 33, Alpine 38, and Mount Laguna coming in at 30. Borrego Springs 33 degrees. On Saturday, it's going to be pretty uneventful. It's going to be dry and quiet, not much going on in this part of the country, which is great news. We will have plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Temperatures in San Diego, a high of 68, Oceanside 66, in Chula Vista 69 degrees, Ramona 72 degrees, maybe a few clouds passing through. Along the coast, our temperatures for the next few days are staying in the 60s. The coolest day of the week will be on Christmas. Partly sunny conditions, 63 degrees. Inland, we're in the 70s. Nice and warm on Sunday. Look at that, 77. And then on Christmas, we drop down to 73 degrees, mostly sunny. And in the mountains, we're in the 50s and 60s all week long. Take a look at those lows. It is getting chilly in the 30s all week long. And in the desert, well, it's going to be pretty warm. 68 on Saturday, Sunday up to 73. And on Monday for Christmas, it's going to be partly sunny, 74 degrees for the high temperature, and our lows in the 30s and in the 40s. For KPBS News, I'm Erin Calandra.
Tonight, remembering the first woman to serve as California Secretary of State. Mark Chwang-Oh passed away last night. She was also the first Chinese American to hold a constitutional office in California. She served 4 terms in the state assembly. She made a name for herself with a campaign to ban pay toilets from public buildings, and she helped pave the way to allow voters to register at the DMV. She was 95 years old. The former voice of the San Diego Padres and a giant in the sports broadcasting community has passed away.
How the heck with it, I'm going to say it anyway. Oh, my!
The family of Dick Enberg says he died suddenly at his home in La Jolla on Thursday. He was 82. Enberg's Hall of Fame career included the Olympics, Super Bowls, Final Fours, and Wimbledon. He spent 7 seasons calling Padres games before retiring last year. San Diego Bay is home to a thriving sea turtle population, but scientists worry the animals are increasingly paying the price for living so close to a large city. In a story we first aired last summer, KPBS reporter Eric Anderson followed researchers who were hoping a vigorous catch and release survey answers some questions.
Jeff Semenoff eases his small boat down the Chula Vista Marina's boat ramp.
All right, hold on just a sec. You got us going here.
The National Marine Fisheries Service craft will help Semenoff's team find out how the bay's 60 to 100 endangered green turtles are doing. He's concerned about some troubling trends.
There's a lot more dead turtles showing up here in San Diego Bay than we'd like.
Boat strikes cause some deaths, age and disease others, but individual carcasses lack the context that researchers need to assess the local sea turtle population.
So few people realize that we have this thriving green turtle population here in San Diego Bay.
And for creatures that can grow up to 600 pounds, they have a talent for stealth.
And the fact that they're here is probably one of the best kept secrets for wildlife in Southern California.
The bay's sediment-rich water feeds eelgrass and invertebrates, both favorite foods of the underwater swimmers. They look for food and rest in shallow, murky water in the evenings, and that's where researchers cast nets to catch them.
So those nets are out there, the animals get entangled in those nets. It's a special net that doesn't harm the turtle. And so once we see that it's been captured in the net, we go and pull it out and we'll bring it to shore.
Grab the flippers.
This juvenile turtle was snagged trying to swim through a patch of eelgrass near the Chula Vista harbor.
Nicely done.
A research team led by Tomo Eguchi
Good job, guys.
already set up a field station on a spit of land on the old South Bay power plant property. The location is close enough to catch and examine the animals.
Which one goes first? Yeah, all right. Give me that.
Eguchi works at the Southwest Marine Fisheries Service. He's been studying the bay's sea turtles since 2004. He says the now dismantled power plant was a draw for the animals.
Their growth rate was much faster than what you'd expect at this latitude. They were similar to the ones in Florida and the Bahamas, just because of the warm water.
The plant created a sort of turtle jacuzzi as it pumped heated water into the bay.
So now that power plant is gone, we're expecting them to start growing slower than before. And that's why we're measuring all these turtles every time we catch them.
Eguchi says turtles are harder to catch these days because scientists just can't camp out near the power plant.
Got the data sheet going?
This turtle isn't new to the team. It has a tag on its right front flipper. Eguchi scans the left flipper for an embedded chip. Those subdermal chips will work the turtle's entire life.
446A.
Robin LaRue is the deputy director of the local Marine Mammal and Turtle Division.
So the first time we caught this turtle was in August of 2013.
She checks the number against her records and finds this turtle was last caught in 2014.
And then we haven't seen it for the last 3 years.
A rope harness allows the team to hoist the turtle off the ground. Eguchi gets enough clearance for a weigh-in.
So the weight is really, 65 kilos.
The turtle is lowered back down and a washcloth is draped over the animal's face. But this is not where the young turtle wants to be, and it moves quickly toward an opening in the plywood pen.
Trying to get this side, there we go.
Volunteer Sabrina Mashburn offers a calming caress. Sea turtles are a passion for her, and she's set up a website to record and track local sightings. Mashburn says a recent survey found many commercial boaters know about the turtles, but recreational boaters don't.
One benefit of educating recreational boaters about turtles is that they'll be looking for them, and hopefully we can decrease the number of boat strikes that we have on our local turtles.
And I'm now using alcohol to rub off any algae or anything else on the carapace so that the glue can stick well.
The last bit of the night's business is attaching a satellite transmitter. It's an autonomous device that will send a signal every time the sensor breaks the water's surface.
Sometimes only 1 or 2 transmissions a day.
Eguchi says the transmitter will work anywhere from a few weeks to as long as 3 months.
That's right, yeah.
And the tracking information will be added to a growing database on where the local population goes. The animal doesn't hesitate when it finally touches the shore. The turtle slips into the nighttime waters in less than a minute. But the creature leaves behind important information. That data will help researchers better understand the elusive turtles and the habitat they live in. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
I'm Judy Woodruff. Tonight on the NewsHour, the U.S. acknowledges ground operations in Yemen, a country ravaged by a growing humanitarian crisis. Coming up at 7 on KPBS.
It's Christmas weekend, and that means some holiday entertainment, plus a few things to do after the big day. Here with more details is KPBS Arts Calendar Editor Nina Guerin.
The San Diego Symphony brings a festive kickoff to Christmas with its Noel Noel concert. Like the Grinch or the Nutcracker, Noel Noel is establishing itself as a popular local holiday tradition. You can expect a family-friendly concert complete with a narrator and local choir groups. You'll hear classical music favorites like the March of the Three Kings and Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. There will also be a holiday sing-along, plus a visit from Santa himself. If you're looking for something to do after Christmas, specifically something active, you'll find it at the Free Day of Dance. Every year, free dance classes are offered at Dorothea Lobb Dance Place in Liberty Station. It doesn't matter how old you are or what level of dance you have. You'll find everything from stretch classes to beginning tap lessons. The classes are taught by some of San Diego's best dancers and choreographers. All you need are comfortable shoes and a sense of adventure. If you'd rather watch people sing and dance, make sure to catch the return of Motown the Musical.
I never met a girl who makes me feel the way that you do.
This show tells the story of Motown founder Berry Gordy, so expect a show packed with music and filled with dazzling dance numbers. You'll hear music by some of Motown's most popular acts, including Diana Ross, Smokey Robinson, and Michael Jackson. For KPBS Arts, I'm Nina Guerin.
You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.